If I volunteer to help build something at my church and spend a whole week of my time there, can I deduct the cost of that labor? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Carlson. I hope you're enjoying your nice hot cup of strangely warm coffee today. Oh, you probably can't even tell that's lit. As always, like to give a big shout out to one of our customers, this time Bolo Tactical. If you're a first responder, police, fire, you need any tactical gear, you work at the jail, sheriff's department, check them out up near Sun and Lake Boulevard here in Sebring. They can give you everything you need. If they don't have it in stock, I'm sure they can order it for you. Tell them we sent you. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about charitable giving. A question came up with a customer just a couple days ago that I thought would warrant a discussion. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to first start with a few basics, and then I'll get into the thing that came up with the client earlier this week. Some of you know that last year you were allowed to take an above the line deduction of $300 for charitable contributions that you made, even if you weren't able to itemize. Typically, you have to itemize on your Form 1040. That's called a Schedule A, and add all your expenses, mortgage, interest, property taxes, charitable contributions up in order to get the benefit of that. Every now and then they throw you a little bone. They did it with property taxes a few years ago. This year, 2020, they did it with above the line cash contributions, and they actually extended that a little bit into 2021. $300 per individual or $600 if you're married, filing joint, or head of household. So that's a pretty big benefit. You have to have made the cash contribution though, and you have to be able to substantiate that. So if you normally don't make any contributions to charity, I never recommend spending any money just to get a tax break on it because you're only going to save your tax rate and still lose the money. But I do recommend everybody donate as early and often as you can to all the charities that you believe in and support, whether it's your church, Little League Baseball, or the school. They could really use the help. So make sure to help them out and support them. So that's an extended provision that came over from 2020 as part of the CARES Act. Got a little bit more money in 2021 to help people out with those cash contributions. One other major thing that came out of the CARES Act for charitable contributions was the limit of adjusted gross income. Typically it was 30 or 50. It changed to 60 for 2021. That was suspended for 20 and 21. So now an individual making cash contributions can now deduct up to 100% of their adjusted gross income. So if you're thinking about a large gift of a piece of property or a large cash investment that you want to make in a charity to help them build a building or something like that, 2021 is the year to do that. I know I had a client just about a month ago who donated a home that he was no longer using to a large charity, and they're already starting to put it to good use. So we're really excited about that and excited that people are able to do things like that. If you're one of them, you need to give us a call now, talk to your lawyer and your accountant to see if maybe we can figure out how that would work for you in 2021. Now let's get into the meat of what happened. So I was recently talking with a client who's involved in a small not-for-profit, and she was talking about matching grant funds. So if a grant comes down from, say, the state of Florida, a lot of times they require matches, meaning that you have to find a local match to help contribute and offset the portion that you got. For instance, in this case, it was 7%. So assume the grant was $100,000. They had to get a match of $7,000 from someone local. In this particular instance, they need boots on the ground in each community. So part of the match from the community was office space. So if you went to an owner of commercial real estate and said, hey guys, we really need an office there that we can work out of, that we can talk to people, be professional, and run this charity out of, would you be willing to donate that space to us rent free? So it's a great thing to do if you're the property owner, and it's awesome for the charity if they're able to find someone that's willing and able to do that for them. But this particular person said that they were under the impression that if I, as a commercial landlord, donated that space to the charity, that I would get a full tax deduction for the value of the rent that I didn't collect. So I had to correct her. You are not allowed to do that. If you own, say, a 2,000 square foot office space and you donate for free, rent free, 200 square feet of that space, you can't figure out what the fair market value of that is and deduct it on your tax return. What you do need to do is figure out what the fair market value of that space is so that you can provide that number to the charity so that they know what their matching contribution was, because for them, it looks like they actually got that money and paid it to have that space. So it works out pretty good for them, and it allows them to get that to get the grant and have the matching funds to go against it, which I think is a great thing. So if any of you are able to do that, please do it. Help out whatever charity you can. But remember, you can't deduct it on your tax return, whether that's a corporation or an individual. Now, you might think, well, that's not fair because I'm really contributing that to them. But think about it this way. If you were to contribute, say, $10,000 to the not-for-profit so that they could pay you rent, and they gave you the money right back, then you would have to count it as income. So the net effect of that would be zero deduction, zero income. So you're really not in any worse position because you're a cash basis taxpayer. You didn't collect the cash. You're also not going to get to deduct it. Another big item that comes up all the time is, hey, Jeff, I worked for a whole week on helping Habitat for Humanity or at my church, building a project or helping them with their finances or whatever it is. I donated this time to them. I typically get paid $25 an hour. And since I didn't get paid that week, can I claim that the value of my time and labor against my tax return as a charitable contribution deduction? The answer to that is also no. If I didn't collect the money as payment, I can't also deduct it on my tax return. Again, the only way that you would be able to do that is if they paid you for the work that you performed, then you took that cash payment and you donated it back to them. In that particular scenario, you would actually be on the losing end, because on the amount that they paid you as wages, you would have to get you would have to pay Social Security and Medicare tax on that. Now, something that just popped into my head as I was talking about that is, well, what if I work for a large company and I'm helping out on the United Way Day of Caring? A lot of times those companies would actually pay you to donate your time away from the company. They'll keep you on the books. Still, no real charitable contribution because you're still getting paid, unless you chose to take the money that you got paid and also donate that back to the charity. One thing that you can deduct in both of these scenarios, or any scenario really, is the mileage related to providing charitable work. So if you're driving to the hospital every day to volunteer and help them out, if the hospital is a not-for-profit or has a foundation that you can work under, if you're driving to Big Brothers and Big Sisters, if you're driving to your church to help out with a project every day or on the weekends, not just attending church service, but actually going there to provide some sort of service. If you keep a detailed record of those miles, you can have the opportunity to deduct that on your tax return, but only if you itemize. It's a small deduction, but every little bit adds up to get to the new higher limits, if you can think about it. All right, so that's it for today. Something that came up just a couple of days ago with my client, one of my clients. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. If you need to reach out to us, you can reach me at 863-382-4141 or at carlsonaccounting.com. You can even schedule an appointment right there on our webpage if you click the appointment button. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on Coffee with Carlson.